that like to relax in Travel Pack. At Travel Pack, we know you want to have a great holiday. The rest you can leave to us. In fact, with worldwide flights, hotels and holidays to all your favourite destinations at a price you'll love, the only thing you need to remember is Travel Pack. Start planning today. Call Travel Pack on 0208 903 9999. At All Protected.
Dick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC.
With China Eastern Airlines, connecting business from London to Shanghai and Sydney.
7:36, your views on immigration in just a second, and a view of the high street, the retail horizon from Andy Street, Managing Director of John Lewis. And of course, big Christmas shopping weekend, perhaps this weekend, is that the big one? We'll find out in just a moment. On the subject of business, let's bring Hank Potts, he's Director of Global Research and Investment. He's at Barclays, into the fray. We'll start with the European Central Bank. Hank, what's happening?
Real pressure building on the European Central Bank to start a full-blown quantitative easing programme. Increased yesterday after banks demanded a relatively modest amount from the European Central Bank's latest lending round. The ECB initiated this targeted long-term refinancing operation in an effort to improve liquidity, keep the cost of bank funding low over the next few years, in fact over the next 4 years, and encourage lending. So far, demand, you have to say, has been pretty poor. Banks borrowed 130 billion euros, taking the total up to 212 billion euros, well short of the 400 billion euro upper limit identified for the end of the year. Improving the flow of credit is not just a supply problem, it has to be said. Businesses in the Eurozone still remain very nervous, so demand for credit remains weak. The European Central Bank recently announced a balance sheet expansion target of 3 trillion euros and said that they would embark on a full QE programme if current purchases don't hit that expansion target or inflation remains weak. We think both of those triggers will be hit and the European Central Bank will begin buying European government bonds by the end of the first quarter next year.
All right, a brief word as we're talking about banks. Russia's central bank.
Oh, absolutely miserable times in Russia, of course, at the moment. Falling oil prices and sanctions hit the Russian economy very hard, impacting business confidence, resulting in huge outflows, driving up inflation. Russia is forecast to fall back into recession next year. The Russian currency, the ruble, has been under a huge amount of pressure, nearly half during the course of this year. So the Russian central bank decided to step in by raising interest rates. So they raised its lending rate by 100 basis points, 1%, taking us to 10.5%, in an effort to prop up the ruble. Did it work? Well, not really. It has to be said. The ruble continued to fall yesterday and remains under pressure, even though the central bank has, as I say, been raising interest rates, promised to raise interest rates further, and spent something like $75 billion defending the currency.
We're on the high street with John Lewis in just a moment. Let's talk Zara first, though, Hank Potts.
Zara posted a 14% rise in sales in November and early December as its fast-changing fashion collections helped it cope better with the mild weather, certainly better than many of its European rivals. Fashion sales in Europe, as we know, were hit by the unusually warm autumn, hurting demand for more profitable items such as winter coats and boots. The Spanish group is nimbler than rivals. It orders more small collections with lead times of weeks from suppliers closer to Europe, rather than millions of garments that many retailers order 6 months in advance from Asian suppliers. Margins still under a little bit of pressure. Wages have been rising in southern Europe, and pressure in emerging markets have been pushing up input costs. But Inditex shares, the owner of Zara, rose 3% on the update.
Have yourself a good weekend. Hank Potts, you're at Barclays.
LBC Business.
With Lex Auto Lease. Say hello to the freedom of vehicle leasing.
Andy Street is in the studio, and you're working out how the Russian ruble story rumbles on in other areas. Andy.
Very interesting talking about, obviously, the thing behind the Russian ruble is, of course, the falling oil price. The interesting thing is the other aspects of this story. One thing lost in all papers is, of course, the powerlessness of OPEC. When we were all a bit younger, you heard about it.
You're still young.
I don't know if neither of us are really. We believe that OPEC will fix the price and deal with market changes in that way. But the interesting is OPEC now only a third of oil production falling to OPEC, and they can't do that. So what's this going to do? It looks as though it's going to continue to run. Ultimately, it's good news for British consumers. It means that for businesses and consumers, many things should be cheaper. So just perhaps that much awaited feel-good factor in the UK will come about as a result of this oil price reduction.
Interesting. You've heard it here first. We'll come back to you later for a look at the general sense of retail just around Andy Street. Thank you. All right, let's come to some of your reactions. they took border control. We don't know how many people are in the country. How would they know the number of criminals? When it all goes belly up, blame, as always, the admin staff. We opened our doors to all and sundry. Very much the feeling. We'll come back to those in just a second. We also looked at last night's Question Time, where there perhaps was a street Jeremy Kyle or even an early Christmas panto. Oh, yes, there was. Oh, no, there wasn't. David in Raynham, you watched it. What do you take from it, David? Good morning.
Good morning, Nick. You know, it's something, Nick. After last night, I'm ashamed to call myself an Englishman.
Oh, yes. Why is that?
Because our political narrative, our political debate has hit an all-time low as far as I'm concerned. For anybody to take this man, what's his name?
You mean Russell Brand? I don't Nigel Farage.
Where this guy's come from, I don't know, but all of this man has suddenly become almost the official government opposition, Nick. I just can't understand.
Hang on. Whoa. Any idea is the official opposition?
Well, he seems to be the only one who is like, you know, screaming from the sidelines. Well, but his rhetoric is completely empty. The man is obviously on it.
I mean, I unfortunately was not able to see it last night. I see it all. I saw the very tail end.
Put two words together. He had all these.
But matey, I've read the reviews in 3 newspapers: the Mail, the Guardian, and the Independent, and they all say the brand came across as pretty vacuous. Did you?
Nick, I'm just speechless. I mean, it's our country. Do you know something? What worries me is we're heading towards another well known in this country.
David, I'm trying to decaf tomorrow, matey. I'm getting a little bit worried about it. Good talking to you. Roy's in Brooklands Park. You watched last night, Roy?
Yes, good morning, Nick. You know, it's an old saying, empty vessels make the most noise. How they can have Russell Brand on a serious question time like that? He gloats and looks back at the audience, makes lots of noise and says nothing. Not only I would love to debate with him, I would absolutely slaughter it with facts. But Nick, I'd like to ask you something. Can you, through your background, find out where the BBC get the audience? Because I suspect, and I've been told, that they contact the local Labour Party. And I've never been able to get on there. I've written, I've asked.
Right. I very much doubt that. They do try to be scrupulously fair. I hope you would have heard the word try. And they're not dopey enough to think that, oh, let's just get the Labour blokes in, or let's just get the UKIP or whatever. They know they've been run. Now, whether, and I've heard this before, and Nigel Farage has said on my show that he went to, I think it was Boston, as I recall, obviously Boston in Lincolnshire, Britain, and he was staggered by how they must have worked so hard to find people who were pro-immigration. Now, Mr. Farage would assert that all day long, but I don't know the full system, Roy, but you don't think it was reflected?
No, because I tell you why. Do you remember the 9/11 thing when everybody complained, and I heard it on the BBC, how they packed the audience with Muslims against the American ambassador? So I believe it is contrived. But how can you have a person like Russell Brand on TV discussing serious politics? He never come up with one serious policy. He never come up with it. And he's a hypocrite.
Well, the BBC seemed mildly in love with him. Remember the amount of time he was afforded on Newsnight. There is, of course, a sense among some that Question Time is perhaps not the appointment TV that it once was. You keep that appointment with me every morning, Roy. Thank you. Have yourself a good weekend. Coming up after the news, Andy Street gets back into those morning papers. We will get more of your reactions in on that immigration story. And up and away is that the story of house prices. 7:45. LBC News headlines, Lisa Aziz.
The water regulators confirmed average charges in England and Wales are set to fall over the next 5 years, taking around £20 off customers' annual bills. The government's admitted Britain's intelligence services did ask for parts of an American report into torture to be censored. Forecasters are warning strong winds in southern England could cause disruption on the trains this morning. The FTSE 100 will start the day at 64.61 after closing down 38 yesterday. This is LBC. Your travel news is next.
Christmas with TalkTalk TV.
Dad, can you pass the mince pies, please?
Here you go, Gemma. Christmas without.
Ow, Gemma, stop it!
Gemma, stop throwing mince pies at your brother.
But I'm bored.
With?
Dad, can you pass the mince pies, please?
Without.
Ow, Gemma, stop it!
Stop throwing mince pies!
I know which I'd rather. Especially right now, because TalkTalk TV homes can try the Sky Movies Boost half price for 3 months. Just $7.50 a month. With over 1,000 movies available on demand, you'll be entertained well into the new year. And after your 3 months is up, dip in and out a month at a time. Head to talktalk.co.uk/addmovies.
I'm Chris Golds in the LBC Travel Centre. The roads are soaking wet after all the heavy rain throughout the night, plus it's still raining in some areas, so do take extra care. There has been an accident on the M1 northbound at junction 7 for Hemel Hempstead. 2 lanes are closed and there's queues back to the M25 now. It's slow on the M25 itself, anti-clockwise between junction 29 for Waltham Abbey and 24 for Porters Bar because a car's broken down, and also slow on the M25 anti-clockwise towards junction 8 for Reigate because of an accident. 2 lanes are closed there. Also queues on the North Circular Road westbound between Waterworks Corner and the Cricket Billet because of an accident earlier. There are delays on the A40 eastbound towards the Greenford flyover because a lorry's broken down, and still slow on the A13 heading into London from Marsh Way towards the Beckton flyover because of an accident, and in Seven Sisters West Green Road is blocked at Grove Road because of another accident. On the trains, Southern, Gatwick Express and Thameslink services all delayed by about half an hour via Red Hill, all because of emergency engineering works. And on the Underground, following a signal failure at Neaston, there are severe delays on the Metropolitan line and minor delays on the Jubilee line, plus there's severe delays on the entire Piccadilly line. Keep your London moving and next travel updates in 15 minutes.
LBC Travel.
With Go-To Meeting, where there's always a seat for you.
Self-employed hairdresser Tiffany uses social media to connect with her customers and find new ones. Tiffany, why go digital?
It is all about social media, and if you don't join, you will lose out.
Kim, you're a customer. Why is it important?
You can catch up on our latest trends, share things with your friends, get their comments on things as well.
People are looking for businesses like yours online. If your business isn't there, they can't find you. Do more with your